All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of King's Cave 80. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. We appreciate the support.
Oh, yeah.
And welcome back, Carlos.
Thank you
How
for
you been,
having
brother?
me.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. You know, just getting through to this. I guess that casting couch really, all them germs floating around got me bad, man. For the last episode.
But you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
Was it fun?
Man. It was a good experience.
Everybody kept talking about that, man.
We got Barbies and My Little Ponies involved, all kinds of things.
Toys and a couch is not a good it's not a good combination. Oh, man. How you doing? He's like, yeah, welcome, man.
Thank you. I'm doing really well. I wasn't expecting that joke. I was like, that did happen.
And you missed it, yeah, because we were on the other couch on the other setup. Because there was a lot of people.
The famous couch, I'm calling that.
And I was just welcoming him, and then just Carlos came up with a random like, I feel like we're on the casting couch. I was like, oh.
That happened on the episode.
Yeah. He did it. Yeah, and everybody was laughing, and everybody was tagging, and everybody was like sharing that moment. I was like, all right, well.
Oh my God! Now we need to change setups.
Yeah, we need to bring a different couch or like now we have to put chairs or something.
I think we got to burn that couch, man.
or we can just own it and upload the episodes on those websites.
We're gonna change the name of the podcast.
We have to give it I think that's what we got to do.
Oh man, what have you been up to, man, lately? Well, besides being sick and trying to recover.
That's the problem. I think being sick got me into shopping.
Yeah. Then you weren't that sick then, because when I was down on bed, man, I didn't want it. Like I got to the point where but I felt like it was slowly like losing interest in the but I spent months in bed, so I was like slowly losing interest because I was just I guess I got the
I was more so. It was I just had stomach issues. I think it was food poisoning. So I wasn't. Yeah, I couldn't walk and
you were while you were on the restroom. You probably like
that's our sacred time. All men know about this. That this is that's our time.
You don't poop until?
No, I don't.
So nobody's okay. Well, let's not talk about that then.
No, so yeah,
but you've been shopping around for sure.
It was shopping. Just had some free time. And yeah, we got a little Skeletor. Little Leo action, and and I got a few more. So I think
how many purchase I go? You've been telling me I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop.
I think I've already done like 5 major purchases.
And then every time after that, you keep saying, I have to stop now because we're planning a trip.
We're planning a trip.
We're planning a trip to go toy hunting to this very cool toy show. Let me just give it a shout out to Froggy Flip.
Froggy Flips. Yep.
They're doing a Hoyster toy show. It's in Sania, I believe it's called like that. I'm not sure. Sania, what is the state?
India, I think Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty cool show. It's all vintage.
That's
what is cool about it, right? So it's all vintage. You heard about other toy shows where like it's mainly vintage, but you still find like a lot of new stuff. What I like about this, Froggy Flip toy show is just everything's straight up vintage. You cannot bring the vendors cannot bring anything new. Mm-hmm. So when I heard about it, I'm like, oh man, that's cool. And it already happened, the first time, and then this is the second toy show, the second
go around.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, and I told her, hey, we gotta go, man. Then a couple of friends like, hey, I wanna go. Oh, shit. But now, okay, we're going and we're planning that trip. But like, since you're like been.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just be the chauffeur now.
I'm trying to save up to go to the toy show, and like you're been like spending like racing, like, oh man, I don't think I'm going anymore. I'm like, hell the hell you're not.
Yeah,
man. You're gonna be driving.
I'll be the chauffeur now, and if y'all need me to shine your shoes, just throw a little bit something there on my side,
on the side.
But no, I mean these are just situations that I don't know. I just got a craving for some Leo stuff now that's what I said in the last podcast that I'm gonna go after Leo. So being that I people don't understand that anything Leo when it comes to Motu, especially Skeletors and Faker being number 1, they're hard to come by, and if good condition, complete,
graded,
whatever. I mean, anything that you could find, you gotta kind of snatch it up. And especially if it's at a good, and I'm not saying, I'm grabbing at good deals, but I mean, it's very hard to find accessories. It's complicated.
It's complicated and it's
expensive.
Expensive. It's going to be the word of today's podcast because that's kind of like the title of today's. This is what we're going to talk about. But before we get into it, like you mentioned, you have a couple of, major purchases, right? So what else you got? Like, can you tell us? Or
so I just recently purchased a laser light Skeletor as well. That one's also graded.
Carded?
That one's graded. Loose graded. 85, yeah.
Okay, 85.
Another complete Leo Skeletor. That one's loose, but it's 100% complete. Nice condition. So that's gradable as well. And then, of course, the Olmec, the pig head from Sunman.
Pig head. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I got that. So, I mean, I don't know.
You got a couple of battle armors, right? Or do you already have them?
I got a couple of them. I was able to let one go because, I got to share the wealth too. So, just to make a little bit of money too on my end, just to recover some of it. So, but just the accessories is
Jesus, man.
The accessories. So it's
an addiction.
Well, I mean, but this addiction is making me happy. I ain't gonna lie.
Every addiction, dude. we never said no. Doesn't make you happy. It's just.
But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's like I said, it's just one of those opportunities when it comes up. I think, and I'm not gonna say it will be the only one that's gonna come up, but it doesn't happen too often. Let's put it that way.
Is that why it makes this figure that expensive, or those figures that expensive, or what? Is it like because they don't come up too often, the rarity of it, or why, or how? Or what are the factors that makes it so expensive?
I honestly think because
we'll talk about it, like if it is what is expensive or who consider what expensive. But like right now, I feel like it's expensive. But why do you think is that expensive?
Get a little bit more deeper in that.
Why do you think it just? Okay. It's just Why are you paying it? Why do we pay this amount of money like on a figure?
I mean, me personally, what I think is, I would go based off of the story behind it first before anything else, because people need to know. I mean, me personally, before I'm spend money on something that's we consider expensive, we're gonna want to know what it is. We're just not gonna go and be like, well, I just want that piece and I don't care if it's this much. I mean, there's a backstory to it, and I know when it comes to any India figures, I mean, it's a third world country. It's to find pieces like that in a place like that, it's not very common. And to know that Mattel and Leo, they had a connection, back in the past. Yeah. They came up with these figures, and then more so the colors. I think to me, honestly, what actually attracts everybody are the colors of the figures.
Yes, the colors, but it has to be a mix of factors, because it's not only the colors but also the rarity of it. Like there's not a lot out there in the market. So before we say why are they so expensive, let's define what is expensive on a figure. Like I've heard a friend that he said any figure that is more than $1,000, it's expensive for me.
Okay.
And I heard that from a guy that has money. Like it's not because he's lack of money. It's like, I think paying more than $1,000 for a figure is too much. That's his ideology. We can all have different point of views.
And I think that's more so is going to happen. We're all going to have different views of that.
Yeah. So what is expensive why would you consider a figure expensive? Or when do you consider a figure, this is too expensive?
Well, I mean, this is, I guess the question you're asking me is, this is going to go based off of my opinion, right? Because I've known guys that Funkos to them, they call a Funko, a $50 Funko, a grill, and they think that's expensive. So, but on my end, honestly, I think me personally.
Would you buy a Funko for $11?
For $11?
For $11. Any Funko.
I mean, I would buy
for your collection.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
So, okay. So then if you wouldn't buy one for 11, is it a 51 expensive?
Is it? It's 50. Yeah, I mean,
Because if you wouldn't even buy one for $11, then one for 50, like shit, you're crazy. You know, I wouldn't be paying like $7 or $10 for Funkos.
No. Yeah, I understand that,
So
but
it's
at the
just
same time, but you also have these Funkos that are really high end. That
Oh, no,
we're
no.
talking about.
I've seen Funkos on YouTube channels or whatever, like they ask you for 1,000, 5,000.
Yeah, no,
whatever.
I've seen some. I've seen one. I think there was a Vader one or something for like $50,000.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's something that sell for. So that's when we're talking about different, kind of what we're talking about right now. So me personally, I think, to me, once you start getting on the high end side of things, I would put a $500 mark on it.
$500.
Mm-hmm.
It's just paying.
Yeah, now I think you're starting to pay
Premium.
Yeah,
What you call premium?
Yeah, what I call premium, because, I mean, who's gonna want to in
the right mind?
Yeah, I was going to say, why am I gonna pay $500 for a piece of plastic? You know what I mean? And so this is where us as collectors start thinking about it, our passion. That's the main thing that drives us, the passion for it, right? So we don't. It doesn't stop us, even though we say 500, because once you start, that's when you start wanting to negotiate after that. That's when I start wanting to negotiate after that amount. When it's $150, 200, I'm like, you know what? It's worth it. Okay,
but it's got to be around that. But that's the thing, because it depends on the figure. It's not just the price tag, because you can say, oh, just as long as it's under 500. But what if they're trying to sell you a $20 piece for 100? That's expensive.
Yeah.
So then you start getting into depending on the piece. So for me, expensive. It's
kind of a gray area, man. Because if you try to really like dig deep into it and like what we're doing right now, I don't think we're ever gonna.
We're not gonna find out the answer. That's for sure. But I'm trying to at least I think solve.
To me, the best way to approach it is, you individually, you have to have your own opinions of why. I have to have my own opinion why. Everybody that collects has to have their own opinion.
Everybody has their opinion. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm not trying to discover the in Spanish we say the el hilo negro. I'm not trying to discover, like, I don't know what is expression in English. Like, I'm not trying to make a new discovery, right? So I'm trying to explain or trying to analyze what a lot of people say. This hobby is becoming expensive, or is becoming too expensive. Why? Maybe because big players are starting to come in. You can account about for the big players. You can start counting out because of the pandemic, or you can start saying about, all right, okay, so the people that watch the shows are coming to an age of you're getting retired, or like the people from G.I. Joe, the people they're getting retired, they're getting like a lot of money or more money, so they're willing to pay for the rare figures, premium prices. So there's a lot of factors why the hobby is becoming so expensive. And when I say expensive, I don't think there's necessarily a price tag or a number on like per se. Like my friend said, 1,000. You may say 500, and I totally agree with that. Like it's around that that wrong. But then you have to look after the factor of each individual piece. Like, right. So if it is a piece that was thousands of were made of that same piece, then you find them like for $10, for $15. And then you find something posted on eBay, asking for $100 for a piece that is worth $10. So that's expensive. So then you're really thinking it's not a number. It's you're gonna have to go individually, on each figure to determine whether it's expensive or not. And that's where it's just becomes so dark.
I mean, it's honestly, I think like what you just mentioned right now, an example where you said, okay, well, would you buy? What if the piece is $20, but the person says they want $100 for it, right? I mean, this is where I think the experience kicks in of what we're doing, because as I mentioned before, and I said again, I don't think anybody that's a vintage collector or even coming in, they're gonna do the research before they they put up some money because, vintage stuff is not cheap.
Rare vintage stuff.
Well, no, vintage stuff in general, because as I said, I put a $500 tag on that's what I think. But somebody may think a turtle for $30-$40.
It's expensive. Exactly. That's exactly the point where I was going to.
And so and that's what I'm saying is, but they know that that's what the market is going for. If somebody's saying I want $100 for this piece, they're gonna do the research, and that's what I'm saying is when it's somebody at I think in our age group, whatever. I honestly think they're going to do more research. 9 times out of 10, they're going to do more research, and they're going to know what they're going after, and not just just take my money. If you're asking $100 and this piece is $20, I don't care. Just take it. I rarely think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen too often.
People will do their research. It's so easy to go on eBay and try to look for a figure, but as well as like, okay, yeah, you're right, but. Now my next question is like how that $30 piece that we think is affordable or I don't know, cheap if you want to call it, how did it become a $30 piece when probably a couple of years was like $5? Like there was a big jump.
Yeah.
We can blame it on the pandemic again. But then is it because more people are joining? And that's the thing, especially with the vintage, because when we're talking about collecting, it's a huge realm. The realm of collecting, you can talk about newer stuff, you can vintage, but when we're talking about vintage, we're talking about a certain and limited amount of stock.
Yes.
So there's no more. You cannot. Yeah, you can reproduce it, but it's gonna be fake. You can be spot out,
reissues, whatever.
But through vintage, it's a limited stock. So nobody knows really the number because there's still figures on random attics or random, boxes and, of people that forgot their toys. So there's not exact number. Nobody has it, but there's definitely a limited amount of stock. Now, definitely you'll see or how the companies, the last years probably or of the line, they start making less and less about those, those forgotten figures, the forgotten figures, whatever. So those were the ones that people start like, considering grails,
they're more sought after
or rare. Therefore, people will tend to pay a little bit more extra. So, who puts the cap on it? I know it's the market. I know it's us, but I don't know.
So I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, when these pieces first came out, how much were they? Every piece that came out,
$3, still
$3, $4.
Yeah.
So now you have some pieces that were worth. Let's say He-Man piece, an 8-back He-Man was maybe like $10 in the past. Now you can find one maybe like for $14,000. Who in their right mind would have thought?
Yeah.
From the,
exactly.
And when we say we're the ones that drive the market, the collectors, we do that, but there's always, as you mentioned, there's probably people in retirement that are willing to pay the premium, and when they do that, the next seller be like, oh, I got the same piece.
Exactly. Once a sale is made, and registered, whatever, if it gets registered on eBay or on a big group,
that's the point right
now.
Like
now, if you make a sale on Facebook group, they will get a screenshot like, oh, hey, it got sold. Who knows if it is a true sale or not? But once a sale is made, it gets registered.
Yep.
And now it's like, hey, okay, so now this figure, it's somebody paid this much. So what happened is that, and I'm telling this on my personal story.
On your end, okay.
Once I got in, I had money at that point. I had a lot of cash flow coming in my way. I was new. I was excited. I thought I knew what I was doing. I knew. I kind of.
You didn't know.
I didn't know shit, but I thought I knew. So I was paying premium. Beside pandemic, those are the prices. You can see.
Yeah,
there was sold figures at that price, but it was probably another fool like me making those purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So people like me, so we can say that in some part, I'm not saying I don't want to take the full blame. In some part, new collectors with a little bit of a more than regular income,
some cash flow, like you said, yeah,
can be the ones to blame.
To blame?
Like,
Okay.
because you can register a sale, and now the people who sell like, hey, this is what it's worth, to someone. And for some reason, that also makes a good excuse for us to pay that money. If somebody else already paid it, I'm not the only fool.
I don't feel so bad.
I don't feel so fool. Exactly. So that and then we are the ones making it.
Like I think the hardest thing to, I don't know, the hardest thing to actually go based off of is like turtles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I know you see we've witnessed it. We've seen it. Where one turtle, it could be something that was selling before the pandemic, like we talked about, right? For $60. And all of a sudden, like when pandemic's about, when it's at its prime, it reaches up to like $250, $200, and we're like, what happened?
What did I miss?
Yeah, what did I miss? And so, now that the pandemic has died down, it went back down on value, but it didn't go back to the normal average price
to what
that
it was
at,
when it started.
And people are still asking for the premium if they can't get, which they're not, but they still try it. But at the end of the day, they're still getting from what it used to cost. They're still getting almost double.
Yeah.
If not almost triple what it cost. And that's
the inflation was like, it was not like parallel to it, to what it actually.
And that happens a lot with turtles. And that's what I noticed with turtles. It happens a lot.
Because it was hot. It's still hot. It's one of the hottest products right now on collecting, because it's one of the most active franchises.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a perfect song for turtles. Like, it was literally on pandemic. That's what everybody was talking about, and that's why I went like all crazy and I filled up like a wall of just turtles, because that was not my first items to collect, but it was like kind of like everywhere. Like, you look, even on Walnut, you'll have a lot of shows, and like
turtles.
9 out of 10 will be about turtles.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
So are you saying, is that what kind of got you to get into turtles? Because it was pretty much all around you. Like, you might as well just.
Yeah. At some point in my ignorance, collecting was all about turtles, right? So I remember going to my first toy show, and all I was looking was, and I knew every single item about almost every single figure about turtles, because I don't think till this day I know exactly all of the.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows exactly how many variants and stuff they did. There's a lot of little, especially if you go to Japan, and then like there's like weird stuff that they came out with, and
yeah.
Anyway, so but I thought I knew, but it was all about turtles, and now after that, a couple of years more, like so many lines later, that it's just not about turtles. It's a lot around it. But the thing is, like, once you start like purchasing and making those, I wanted that figure now type of purchases. Like, I want it now.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait, because you have cash flow coming in. You don't care about and if somebody else paid similar, I'm not gonna wait for the next one. If there's only one available, I'm snatching it. And somebody else wants it, I don't care. I'll pay a couple extra bucks more, just to get it.
Well, I think that's pretty much how the way it works. I think in any auction, from eBay, from whatnot, from auction houses, there's always going to be, there might be those two individuals that want it bad, and they're going to start battling. And what happens is people start taking notice of it. Like, okay, I got the same figure. I'm gonna run it next week. And so I think it starts trending, like you said. It starts registering, and I think that's
once those two people are out of the game, sometimes that figure just dramatically drops off on price. That's what happened with turtles. Turtles go up a lot and then comes out a lot, and then it's crazy. You've seen sometimes high end figures and turtles like selling for like a lot when it goes collector to collector, or not a lot, but like kind of like fair, like know market, and then you go and find like on sold on eBay like way cheaper than now. Like what happened there? Like was it like a matter of luck, or did this guy didn't know what happened?
Well, that's when you have to do a lot of research. I mean, so if like I said, if you're gonna be
all right, it's okay, but it can easily, like, let's say I don't know, I don't want to say, or unless you're okay with really how much you pay for it, but let's say this costs $1,000, which is not, right? But let's say yeah, I know everybody knows that it's not $1,000, but let's say this is $1,000 piece, right? And then you bought it for $1,000 because it's market value, and then you got it from a collector. But then you look at it on Instagram, on eBay, and then all of a sudden it sells for $600.
Okay.
Would you sell this one? Let's say you want to get rid of it. Would you sell it for $600?
No.
You're trying to get at least what you pay for it.
Yes.
So that's what happens sometimes. In this times, it's what's happening with eBay. Like back in the days, it was more consistent. Like if you will find like a piece for $500 on eBay, you will find it anywhere else for $500.
You're absolutely right
and
about that.
It kind of kept consistency. Right now, especially on turtles, I've seen it on so many other toy lines. Like you find it. Oh, this is a market value because a couple of people have paid for this much. And then all of a sudden you see it on a show for half a price, or you see it on eBay sold on auction for like half of it. So it's like, what's going on? Why is this market so inconsistent? And sometimes that makes it expensive. And we go back to like inconsistency can make it expensive as well.
Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right, because as a buyer, you're gonna want to go for the lowest price that is sold in the market. As a seller, you're gonna want to go at the highest price that's sold in the market. So it's just a negotiation battle that you're gonna have after that. But yeah, it's absolutely what you said. Yeah, if you bought a piece for $1,000 and it's sold for $600, you're not gonna want to sell it for $600. So but the individual that's gonna want to buy is like, well, this is what it's going for now. But like you're saying, consistency, that's what happens is the market. Other lines too, but we keep reverting back to turtles. I mean, I just mentioned that when the pandemic hit, the turtle was at its high end. It made I seen it sell up to $300, and it was a $65 figure all day, day. Yeah. And now that the pandemic's been over with for years already, but it's still stayed. It's still within like
continue kind of like run with the flow.
Yeah, it still stayed. I mean, I never seen it sell for over 200 anymore.
Yeah,
but it's still within that.
But it didn't go back to 60.
It didn't go back to 60.
That's
Well, guys, there's a reason for that. I mean, of course, the main reason of everything being expensive is that vintage collecting, of course, is a limited amount of items, right? The second thing is that we are in America. And if you earn...
This is America.
Yeah, if you earn $30,000, you have more money than 90% of the world.
What now? Say it again?
If 90%. You earn $30,000, you have more money. You're richer than 90% of the world.
Crap, okay.
And I'm sure that $30,000 earner Americans are not the one collecting toys. Are the three figures ones. And... this is a market, it's a game, if you want to see it, of high-end players. And that's the reason number one.
Those are the ones that brags. Yeah. The high-end is the one that, for some reason...
I'm not talking about rich people. Is that in the world, it's like 10% of the world are...
No, I know what you mean.
Not even 10%.
I know what you mean. And... I think one of the things, and you're totally right, but one of the things that drives it even more expensive, besides pandemic, and is honestly, you can say that, but there's super high-end collectors in Mexico, in Argentina, where you can say that's the worst economy or one of the worst economy, whatever you want to say, whether it's recovering or not right now in Argentina. And I've seen collectors like crazy collection. Like, I understand, but it's not only America. It is honestly in the world, over the world. I've seen collections like crazy.
But if you take out like I don't think this is possible, but if you count every collector of all the world, Americans has to be the majority.
Mexico, I don't know. I've seen you
no,
or Hispanic.
The thing is that
That's the thing. That's the thing you cannot say because
Oh man, that's a tough one.
it's a tough one because maybe the demographics, just in general, like the per capita, you're gonna have to go on those demographics because you may accustom to what you've seen.
I think that's exactly what I was gonna say.
You look at the numbers of people, like the biggest YouTubers are the one like Hispanic speaking YouTubers on like for like, and that like just now. I don't know if it is because we've had like a couple of good friends that help us build an Hispanic community on our podcast. But you simply look at on our numbers. We always are Hispanic or Spanish, speaking episodes. They're double or sometimes triple the views on the English one. I'm not saying that there's more collections just because of that, but you cannot say definitely that in America are the highest or the biggest or the
I guess he said, are you going based off of the
I'm not saying
economy? You think because economy-wise, just in general?
I'm going based of income.
On income. It can be.
Because in Latin America, a normal people that earns a lot of money is like $700 a month, and you're making a lot.
Now, if you're talking about high-end pieces, then maybe. But if you're talking about collecting in general, because there's collection that you can start, you don't have to spend too much to build a collection. That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about vintage. When something has
vintage, you can find vintage for not too much. And there's people that they build their collection with not a lot and they don't earn too much. It can be in any country. When I'm saying vintage, you have to go on the high end of the vintage, like the rare figures. That's where maybe what you're referring to is because you can talk about collection, you can talk about vintage. Now we're talking about high end. Then maybe you can argue that the majority is in the U.S. Maybe because
let's go more specific. I mean, if a figure is $100,000, a millionaire from Argentina, Russia, and United States, they're fighting on the same arena.
Mm-hmm.
For 50,000, I would say maybe. I understand it. But when we're talking about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 500, majority has to be Americans and Europeans, just because of base income.
Base income. I know what you mean, but you see, now you're talking about high end. With like a $500 figure, it can be considered now like it's more like a high end figure. Like it's just, you're starting to reach into the high end realm of now it's just you're paying premium, like Carlos said, like you're paying premium. That I can probably give it to you, but it's not because it's vintage. You can find a lot of vintage figures for.
I mean, you can find Hot Toys that are around that price.
Hot Toys are new, like it just yeah.
So it just I mean, man, I wouldn't want to say that it's a fact, but I get what you're trying to say, Isa. I really do, because you of course you're going based off the income, but to say it's a fact that here in America we're more
the number one.
Yeah, and I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
The thing is that
it could be per capita, maybe.
This is a thing of disposable income. It's a thing. This is a market of disposable income.
Yeah, but man,
and Americans are the ones with the most disposable income, and millionaires.
Man,
you go to Dubai.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Well, think about it. They're probably not into collecting because they collect their Bugattis.
They're not even interested in collecting.
Exactly. We're not talking about Lamborghini.
Cheap stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying.
That was going to be one of other topics. Is it really expensive, or is just we're not millionaires? Like, is it just expensive to us?
Because I mean, yeah, because it's income. I mean, if you're filthy rich, I mean, you could do whatever you want. I mean, like I said, some people are so rich that they don't even know what to do with their money. They just
that's just
they do something. They and
cars
so,
and
so that's when it gets to the point where this honestly, and it's not. This is nothing to them.
Yeah.
This is just they will see that figure, break it open, just throw it away or not even know, pay attention to.
Yeah.
So, but and you know, in art, like you said, we're capped out to what we know what we're capable of doing with our income,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we stand. I mean, that's, you know, this is what we think is high end on our end, because that's where we know what we could spend and what we can't spend. I mean, because trust me, if I could spend $1 million on a figure and I did have it and it was just free money, I would do it. But I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, it shows how irresponsible we are. I mean,
No, that's what I said. I would spend it, but if it was just free cash flow.
But to you, a million, it can be to someone else 4,000.
Exactly.
You see, like, and then if you make a purchase for 4,000, and if you make it to pesos, just because that's the easiest way, because that's the one that Mexican pesos, we're talking about 4,000. We're talking about $80,000. That's a crazy amount, man.
80,000 pesos.
80,000 pesos. I'm sorry, Mexican pesos. It's a lot of money. A lot of money, but even $4,000 is a lot of money. Like, it's just depending who's like you know, who's spending it, like who has the like Isaiah said, like the disposable income.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, we make it expensive, but we also make, you know, our cap because of our limitation. I think it's the demographics. You know, the majority of whoever is into it, we might have a similar income, and we might be willing to spend around the same amount. And it has to be something with demographics, and sometimes with the income that we make, that is gonna put our own caps. You know, because I'm not willing to pay this much extra than the other guy did, or whatever. Now, my next thought, it's, would it be still the same fun if it wasn't this hard to get or this expensive?
Oh, I mean,
I think it makes it really fun to hunt for
I
a
think
figure.
I mean, me personally, it's what I said in the past, you know, and it's something that I think any vintage collector will say this. If I had a time machine, right?
But not even that. Imagine.
But just get where I'm coming from. So let's just say if I had a time machine, right, and I could have every piece, that would be all of us. So then where would
but I'm not talking about that. Think about this. Like, if we're talking about hypothetical scenarios, let's think about it like this. When I'm talking about, would it be this fun? It's, what if, let's say the toy companies had a rule back then, right? If you made 10 million of Raphael 10 back, you have to make 10 million of each Raphael undercover. And you have to make 10 million of the Sumo Raph and 10 million of the Sumo Mikey, whether they're sold or not. So all the figures have an equal amount of production number. So there's no grails. Everything is the same.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Would it make it still the same fun to go after them? Would it be still the same?
In my opinion, it would. It wouldn't.
I don't think it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it wouldn't, because then you lost which one is rare, which one's the grail, which ones are like, there's no hard to find figures. Everything is available. There's a lot. There was million made, and okay, some of them were sold more than others, but production numbers are the same.
Yeah,
so you're gonna end up finding them, right?
Yeah.
So I think the rarity, the value, making them expensive, not necessarily. I don't want. That's the thing. I don't want to pay. I want them to become expensive after I got them. Like, you know, let me get them first and then make them expensive. But I think you will lose the thrill of it. And most of the collection, because I know we have a lot of figures, at least for me, that are kind of like decoration. Like the common ones, is just kind of to fill it up, to decorate.
Fill up the space, okay.
But then you have your top shelf.
The top shelf, yeah.
So you have decoration shelves, and then you have value shelves. And I know which ones are my value shelves.
Yeah.
And I know which ones I'm looking at. Like I'm looking at that shelf, I'm looking at that shelf, I'm looking at this shelf. You know, I know which one I'm looking at, right? Because I know that in that shelf, it's the pure, you know.
Yeah, it's the cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. So we complain about how expensive it is, but I think on its readily, it's part of the fun. I know nobody have fun spending this much, but if it wouldn't be this expensive, therefore it wouldn't be this hard to get, therefore it wouldn't be kind of like this fun or the thrill, or even just the thrill to find it, to finally get it, that rush, like, oh, I finally got it.
Because it's not even just finding it. Honestly, it's even obtaining it, because once you actually see it, do you have the funds?
Exactly, but exactly. So that's my thought. I know a lot of people complain about being too expensive and people making it expensive and all of that, but and making it expensive, we can summarize it, and we can, instead of talking about it for an hour, we can summarize it in a simple phrase of supply and demand. Period. But if you don't want to get into much trouble, supply and demand.
But some of the people think that influencers also.
Whatever it is, whatever it can be, influencers, it can be new collectors, it can be rich people getting into the game, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's gonna come down to supply and demand. There's a certain amount of items, and there's a certain amount, or there's a growing amount of people who wants it.
Yeah.
So that's the demand grows, but the supply cannot grow. So what is the next thing that's gonna go up?
You have to fight over
the price.
Yeah. Well, you have to fight for it. Yeah.
Exactly. So you know the formula, right?
Yeah.
So that's as simple as that. But what I'm going to, like, whether it's expensive or not, is would it be as fun or not? Like, I think
it would.
it's worth it. Like I think it wouldn't if it was not expensive. If it was not red to get, I don't think it would lose a lot of fun in it. Like if it wasn't that expensive, or it wasn't that, not necessarily expensive, but follow me, like,
yeah,
the
because
red of it.
I think people, like, for instance, perfect example, you know, if people were to come to the cave, you know, people would ooh and ah, but they'll enjoy it, even though they don't own it. It's something that, you know, they some people can't obtain. I mean, that's just part of the nature. But I think some people are just content with just, okay, but that's a nice piece, you know, congratulations, or that's a nice piece, something they know they can't obtain, but just to know that it's out there, and they did some research on it, I think that's good enough for some people, and they're content with that.
As a collector, I think that's one of our to I'm not saying to everybody, because everybody collects for different reasons, but to a lot of collectors, you can have a lot of rare pieces, you can have one rare pieces, and then just be so proud about it. And probably it's gonna be your the jewel of your collection, the hard one to get. I think deep inside every one of us, it's a harder pieces to find, the ones that we pride the most, or the ones that we treasure the most, or the one that we're trying to show off the most, right? So it's a perfect example with me and my muscle malt collection. A lot of people don't even know muscle malts, right? A lot of people don't even know the line. A lot of people don't even know which toys were in it. A lot of people, they didn't even know that they were like hand puppets. The bad guys were produced or not. The second wave existed. So a lot of people, they don't even know anything about it. But for me, for the few people that know, they know. How rare, how hard it is to get this piece. To me, it's my pride and joy, and my, you know, the jewel on my
collection.
The crown of my collection. So at the end of the day, it is the hard ones to get that makes it fun. And of course, the hard ones to get tend to be the expensive ones.
And I think that's
not in all cases, but yeah.
But I think just in general with life, I think that's what people work hard to get what they're trying to obtain. It could be from finishing school. It could be from getting the vehicle they always wanted. It could be from getting that degree. It's just the same thing, you know, with these pieces. I mean, it took you a long time it took you hard-earned money. It took you a long time. Well, you could say it took you a long time to because compared to how the way whenever you start collecting a line, like you wouldn't stop, and pretty much by 2 weeks you'll have the whole damn line. But with muscle months, it took you a lot longer when you're trying to blow and go. So that's what I think. You know, the person, the collector, the vintage collector, even a modern collector, when they finally get that piece that they wanted to obtain so bad because it was either hard to find or hard to buy.
Yeah,
that's gonna be their.
Or they missed the retail time on their shelves, and then now you have to find it on the resellers, and then you're trying to fight for the prices, and even if you
like I said, and so for them to actually have it in their hands, I know for sure because I'm talking from my experiences. Once you have it, you're like, man, it's just a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and you're just gonna look at it, and you could, sometimes honestly you could be upset the day went, it didn't go smooth. Things happen, but then you come in here, you take a deep breath, and you start looking at you, and it starts relaxing you,
playing a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that's honestly with anything in general with life. I mean, I think people that work hard for what they're trying to obtain and they finally get it.
Yeah,
it's like
it doesn't matter. How much you put in, if it brings you peace. That's another thing, right?
So the hunting is part of that too. It's a joy. It's something that takes our time, and that's what we tell our spouse. Hey, we're not out there doing crimes or anything like that. So if it's a crime to spend this much money, then so be it. But whatever.
They handcuff me.
Yeah.
Then take me to jail.
Yeah.
No, but also so another thought. We're talking about expensive figures, and most of this is about the expensive figures that we find right now. There's pieces out there that haven't reached out their potential, and that they're gonna grow individually, evolve their own line. Like, let's say they're like pieces in the total toy line, that haven't been appreciated or discovered, and they're rare to find, hard to get. A lot of people don't know about it. And then at some point they're gonna grow up. They're gonna grow more than the rest of the turtles. An example, black belts. That was the most. This is the most, freakish and craziest example. Because
it made a jump.
In a year, it went from freaking $50 figure to 2,000 figure. Like, because everybody thought it was the same price for a regular shelf, store shelf, then variant, and then started to realize how hard it was to get them and all that. So I think there's still figures around, not only in turtles, but I can name a few that they're hard to get. That if you still find them, it's still cheap.
Which is would that be?
Hand me that one right there, the football.
Okay.
Right, that one right there, yeah. That one right there. Tell me how hard it is to get this one.
Yeah, this is one, but this is difficult. I think it only came out in the UK, right?
I have no idea. I didn't know that. I thought it came out in here too. I don't know. I don't even know the story about it.
I think so.
I don't even know the story about it. A lot of people said that there was, very few pieces of this because it was soccer, and in the US, soccer has never been, its main, sport, and it's crazy hard. It'll take you longer to find this one than to find a scratch, to find a hotspot, to find an undercover.
That is true.
To find even most of the storage shelf, maybe not rough, but it'll take you days, months, if not years, to find this one.
Yeah.
When I found
it's
it,
not expensive. It's not expensive.
It's how much you'll say?
I mean,
I can tell you how much I got it for, but it's about price. How much you think? It's crazy rare. How much you think? With those things that I said, it's crazy rare. One of the rarest pieces in the TMNT, but it's not that expensive. You know how much expensive it is on the TMNT, but it's not how much you think it'll be.
The thing that is weird because soccer is the #1 world sport,
But remember,
not
the
America.
TMNT, it was mostly America, and they will sell here.
TMNT is here. $80?
Well, you went too low, but
I'll take it.
I'll take it. But no. It's a 150 to 250.
I'd say like 250.
I got it for 200. But when you say one of the rarest pieces on TMNT,
when you put it out, people are like, sell it. I want it.
I got it. I wanted how much people. There's a guy. Shout out. I know he watches it. That he sent me a daily message. Jesus, motherfucking boy. I appreciate you, brother, but he even put day 4 of asking you for the day 5. He keeps track of it like, oh my god. Until I told him, like, okay, I traded for your euro. He had a Slapshot Leo euro card. Like, I traded you for that one. He goes, like, oh no, I'm not crazy. Yeah, no, but it's equally rare. It's just not that expensive.
That's interesting.
Super. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's just lack of, the knowledge, people that they don't know about it, or just people don't like it.
I believe that was a UK release. That's why, if I'm not mistaken.
It happened with the Euro Slam Dunking done.
That, you know what? I mean,
that's got like freaking
that's
hard to get.
Find. Yeah, it's hard to find.
To this day, I haven't seen one on card. Mm-hmm. I've seen the other ones, sports. I've seen the musicians. I haven't seen the Euro Shredder.
The Euro Shredder.
But I have not yet to this day seen
a Dunkin' Don.
A Dunkin' Don on card. Either for sale or on a collection. Maybe some of y'all have it. Show me. I just want to see it. I want to have a look at it.
He's gonna be day one.
I want to day one of me asking you for this one. Yeah. So it's crazy, right? But so I don't know. So
that makes you wonder. Is not the small amount of items that exist of a certain
that makes it expensive?
It's how many people want it.
Yeah, like it's supply and demand. Yeah. So this might not be too expensive, but it's not sought after, and it's super rare to find. Because they made the whole series like they made like small like almost like baseball size balls, and then they make like a football.
The
that one,
football.
so like, it's super popular. Like, and it's all of them like super inexpensive, easy to find. And this one, it's almost the same price as the football, or like a little more expensive, but crazy hard to find. Especially in good condition. I never seen one sealed.
But with muscle muds, not many people want it, but it's crazy expensive.
But it's just how many people wants it? So it's crazy. It just, that's why we said it's this is a weird hobby where you find maybe that now that people knew about it, or maybe there's it only needs a push. Who knows?
Like and that's what we're saying. So. I mean, it's easy to say that we drive the market because we do, but there's a lot. If we really want to dig deep and be more specific, there's a lot of questions that you ask yourself, like why and what and how did it become this much, and what made it become this much, and the rarity. Yeah, we know the production of it, the production line. There was a lot less than because this piece was more popular. That's the reason why, like I said, usually in a run of toy lines in general, the bad guys are usually a little bit more expensive than the good guys because, of course, as a kid, they produced more good guys than they did bad guys because everybody wanted the good guys.
And usually those are a little bit more expensive. That's how it goes most of the time.
And so there's a lot of factors, pretty much. There's a lot of factors.
Exactly. There are a lot of patterns in this market, but at the same time, there are so many variables.
Sometimes one, it just crazy. None. Yeah, it throws everything off.
It throws things off.
Yeah, it just
it makes you think.
It makes it fun.
It makes you
It makes it fun, and it makes it like.
But then it hurts your pockets.
One thing I want to see, like going back, like because so far the market for this figure in this particular case, it's because people think that's what they're worth. And that's, okay, I got it for this much. So I think this is on the early days of the storage shelf black belts. This is how much I got it for. It shouldn't be this more expensive. Like, so what I want to see, I want to see this figure on eBay on auction. Because when I got this one,
buddy, you're the only one that has it right now. So let's put it on auction.
Somebody else put it up for auction. Somebody else, I'm not gonna put it for auction. I know it will go for more than $200. easy. But the thing is, like, when I got it for 200. But when I got it, there was one sold on eBay for 75 or something like that, 125, something like that. But it was like a set price. Somebody put it and didn't last long. Like somebody snatched it really quick. So it was not an auction. So I want to see how much it really goes for. An auction. And that's where you start showing, like, oh, shoot, this is... and then it becomes like a sought after figure.
But then that, honestly, okay, like the Euro Shredder, man, I clearly remember that figure. It took me so long to try to obtain one because they wouldn't come out. They're worn out. I didn't see any. And I'm like, man. And I know I missed out on one on auction. I lost by a couple of dollars. I beat myself up for that at that point in time. I like, well, when the next one didn't come up to like maybe a year and a half later.
Shit.
And all of a sudden you just see a bunch of them like
and then drop the market down.
Exactly, because
but that's the thing, like that happened probably with the scratch, and once the people, like, that's what like a lot of people say, oh, a scratch is not a grail. It might not be, but it's still on the low production end. But you can find them because it's so damn expensive. There's always going to be one for sale because some people want to cash in.
Yeah,
right. So it's rare, but people say, oh, how come it's rare if you always can find it? Yeah, but you always can find it for like
over $1,000,
over 2,000.
I have not seen a scratch, honestly. No BS. I haven't seen a loose scratch, sell for less than maybe $900. And that,
no accessory. No.
And that scratch being beat up too.
Yeah. So, but you always find a scratch because it's pricey. So maybe if somebody puts this one up on auction and then it goes for, I don't know, instead of 200, 500 or 700, I don't know. I don't know how much you can reach.
Let's say one were to go to auction and it'll come up to maybe $300. Let's just say $300.
Nah,
let's just say that. We're just so if you say that, I guarantee people will be like, I have a couple of. Well, I have. So they start.
But I think it needs to go more than that. It needs to go more than that to people say, hey, I have one. Let me put it up. And then then it was super hard to get them. And then once you start getting one for 1,000, everybody's gonna start like, oh, now it's time for me to sell mine. And then more will start popping up. But guess what?
The value's gonna start going down.
But it's not gonna go back to the 200. That's for sure. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
once it goes up, it never goes back down to its.
Man, it's not gonna go back down, but it would. Let's just say one could reach all the way to 700. Let's say $700, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you see 5 more come out, like, oh, $700.
It'll come down to 500.
It'll come down to 500.
It's not gonna come down to 200. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's. I can. Te lo firmo aquí. I can
sign it.
I can sign it. So, yeah, man, it's just weird on this hobby, how some things can become super expensive for those reasons that we've been talking about, but sometimes
there's a lot of factors, man. It's just,
it has to be a lot of factors, because if you talk only about rarity, there's a lot of rare figures that they're just not that expensive in the popular lines, So it's not only a rarity. It has to be, and I think if we summarize this episode, it has to be supply and demand. Why is it so expensive? Supply and demand. Would it be as fun if it wasn't like that? I don't think it will.
No,
I think it will. You will lose the thrill of hunting, of obtaining that piece that nobody else can, or something like that. It's just.
I mean, it's as selfish as that sounds. I think honestly, that's what a collector will want is, I got this piece, and not a lot of people can say they have it themselves, and so that pretty much becomes this is the cream of my crop right here. This is my top shelf, because I know not everybody could obtain this shelf right here. So that to me, I think that's what's gonna make it fun for the collector. If they're able to obtain it, that's and honestly, me personally, I do it more so because it's something that I want, my goal that I'm trying to reach. I mean, if honestly, I don't look to see what people have, but if they have it, they have it. If they don't, okay. But I just go based off of that. But like I said, everybody's opinionated on how the way they collect and how the way if they see things. I just feel that, in my perspective, I don't care if people can. Like I said, the Euro Shredder. The only thing that sucks is If that's the only piece I can say, man, it took me this long, and all of a sudden you see like 10 of them on eBay. I'm like, God damn, it took me this long. I could have, a couple years later, I could have just waited instead of pulling my hair out.
No, yeah, for sure. It happens with a couple of figures. But then it also, you can kind of, if you're in it, you balance it out easy, because then you find pieces that weren't that expensive at some point, and then they become like super freakish expensive.
Because at the end of the day, honestly, I know there's a lot of pieces you have. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pieces that I have that I know we in today's market we made some good buys, because I know we could profit if need be.
Yeah.
So I mean,
then we also did some desperate buys, some thirsty purchases. I've done that. I have to. I admit it.
Yeah. No. I mean, man,
it's all your fault, though. You made me do it. You
gotta blame it on somebody, right? Well, I blame it on Isaías too.
Guys, before we wrap it up, would you mind letting me know? Maybe people are wondering too about that messenger. I would like to know what about it.
This is called Gaikin.
I think it's one of the coolest ones.
It's I think the colors is pretty cool. But I put it here because it was the one that I just recently got. It was the one that I was missing from my Shogun Warriors, the American release. So I complete my collection of Shogun Warriors, but that's the American release. So they're like Daimos, the Great Messenger, Dragoon,
Raiden.
Raiden, and then you have Godzilla, and Rodan. A lot of people sometimes included in it or not, but I think it's part of it. And then the one that I was missing is Gaikin. And thank you for reminding me, because I promised this guy a huge shout out, and I don't want to, because he sold me a lot of goodies. His name is Carlos, by the way. Carlos Rosas. He's a good guy, not like this Carlos. A good Carlos, not like...
Not all the Carlos are bad guys, man.
Yeah. Not all Carlos are bad guys. His Instagram is 80s Villains Storeroom. He told me, hey, we were making a deal. I was like, okay, I'll give you this price, but is this one plus a shout out on the podcast?
Nice.
Like, all right, so there you go, Carlos. Thank you. Thank Carlos Rosas from 80s Villains Storeroom. I appreciate you, man. The last two big lots that I got, it's from him. He told me like, I just want to make some space. Curious enough, he was the one also sold me this.
Oh,
this piece.
Nice.
I commented on him. I don't know if I looked thirsty or not.
Almost like you did.
But I just told him, hey man, that's such a cool piece. I didn't even ask. I just like, it's ones that I've been looking for. I love to get like one of those one day. That's cool. And he DM'd me, hey man, I can sell it to you. I'm like, oh really?
Oh, wow.
Oh sure, yeah, all right. And then I got it from him. And then later on, like, yeah, I'm just trying to make space. I don't want to get rid of all of it. I'm trying to make space and all of that. So I got a couple. Okay, let me get this lot, and then I got the alien, and I got a couple, a lot of
nice pieces, man.
A lot of cool pieces from that guy. So thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you, man. There's your shout out, brother. Thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, there goes for it's on Shogun Warriors. I think it's like the 87 or 78 or
that's
79, 70s, something like that.
79.
It's a line on the 70s, but it's part of the Shogun Warriors.
It looks great.
Yeah,
it's cool. These are cool pieces, man.
Yeah. You can. Yes.
Boobs.
Boobs. That shoots.
It shoots.
Watch out, Isaías.
Really? That.
Okay. There you go.
I bet your wife can't do that,
huh? Oh my God. I'm not gonna say nothing. All right, we had to end up on a high right there. I cannot top that one. We're gonna end up right there. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Subscribe and hit that bell notification.
Yeah, subscribe, comment, like. Thank you guys, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.
Yeah.